Okay, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Friday Nights of Film Nerd number 35. I can't believe we've actually done 35 of these. So anyway, yeah, as the title of the stream suggests, tonight we're going to be doing a little bit of a year in review, because a lot happened in 2022. A lot of movies came out, a lot of the, many of them did very well, some of them not so much. Let me turn down the music real quick, make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, just making sure. Just let me know how the audio balances. That should do it. Alright, so yeah, a lot of movies came out this year. Some of them were hits, some of them were misses, some were good, some were bad, and all that good stuff. Anyway, so I actually, this is kind of last minute, but I decided, you know what, fuck it. For the last stream of the year, I figured I should leave it up to the community to decide what they want. So, in my community tab, I decided to post a little thing here. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that so y'all can see it. Okay, there we go. So, for tonight's end of the year stream, would you guys rather have a game night stream or a year in review stream? The year in review, music is still a bit low. Okay, hang on, let's see. Let me try to fix that. Okay, I dialed it down a little bit, and I'm actually gonna, oh, damn it, okay. I'll go into the video. Okay, let me know if that's still a little too loud. I turned it down a bit. Anyway, so, would you guys rather have a game night or a year? The year in review would be about all the major movies that came out this past year, as well as anything noteworthy that happened. For game night, we'll probably just play riff tracks, maybe some Club Flash if you guys are interested. So I put this up about 5 hours ago, and I only got 2 votes, and the 2 people who voted really wanted a year in review stream. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I pulled up a couple of articles here talking about stuff like, celebrities who passed away, what movies were the biggest hits of the year, and which ones were the biggest flops of the year. So I figured we'd probably go over the sad stuff first. So let me take a quick drink here. I grabbed a Rockstar recovery before starting the stream because I was feeling a little tired and I didn't want to yawn during the whole stream. Anyway, so let's get into the first one. So the first article I have here is from Entertainment Weekly, and it is Stars We've Lost in 2022. Now, I found a lot of these articles that were talking about famous people who died this year, but a lot of the lists left off certain people that I wanted to mention who have passed away this year. But this one I found was pretty accurate, so we'll just go over this list. So the first one we got here is Neil Jimenez, and I'm just going to be reading what other people have written, but it says, Neil Jimenez, the award-winning screenwriter and director whose credits included the gritty cult classic River's Edge and the semi-autobiographical drama The Water Dance, died of heart failure on December 11th. He was 62. A native of Sacramento, California, Jimenez began his writing career at 17 with a weekly column in a local newspaper and went on to write the script for River's Edge at 21 for a UCLA film class. The film, which won Best Picture and Best Screenplay at the 1988 Independent Spirit Awards, launched Jimenez's screenwriting career and has come to be regarded as a classic portrait of disaffected youth. In 1984, Jimenez sustained a spinal cord injury that became the inspiration for his 1992 film, The Water Dance, which he co-directed with Michael Steinberg. It won multiple awards in the 1993 Spirit Awards and the Sundance Film Festival. Jimenez also wrote the films Where the River Runs Black, For the Boys, The Dark Wind, Sleep With Me, and Hideaway, and was an in-demand script doctor. So there you go, Neil Jimenez, we salute you. So next up we've got Bob Penny, which I actually just heard about this earlier. Bob Penny, a university professor and actor who appeared in numerous films, including My Cousin Vinny and Forrest Gump, died on Christmas Day. Wow, that's pretty harsh. He was 87. Born in Anniston, Alabama in 1935, Dr. Robert Lynn Bob Penny began his professional career as a poetry teacher at the University of Alabama before eventually making his transition to the silver screen. He starred in multiple films throughout the 80s, including the Oscar-winning 1988 film Mississippi Burning, before he retired from teaching to focus on his acting career. In 1990, Penny appeared in over 30 film and television series, including 1982's My Cousin Vinny, Forrest Gump, and Sweet Home Alabama, which Sweet Home Alabama is actually a favorite for my sisters. I don't know, they've always just been really big Reese Witherspoon fans. So, yeah, I mean, that's gotta suck. That not only did you die, but you died on Christmas of all things. That's pretty tragic. And this one I actually also just heard about, Vivienne Westwood, who is a fashion designer. And it reads, widely credited with popularizing the punk styles of the 1970s, died just yesterday at her home in London. She was 81. Westwood first rose to prominence in the UK punk rock scene in the 1970s. She made clothes for King's Road boutique known as Sex that she ran with then-husband Malcolm McLaren, the manager of the Sex Pistols. Westwood wanted to become a major force in the fashion world, and her clothing has been worn by the likes of Marion Cotillard, Pharrell Williams, and Princess Eugenie of the British royal family. Perhaps her most iconic contribution to pop culture was Carrie Bradshaw's wedding gown in the first Sex and the City movie in 2008. Yeah, I can't really comment on that because I never watched Sex and the City and I have no desire to, so we'll just move on. Okay, continue. Oh yeah, Pele. Yeah, Pele just died. Yeah, I don't know if there's really much I can say about Pele because I'm not a sports guy, but he was a pretty big figure in soccer, and it says here that he died of multiple organ failure from complication of colon cancer, and he was 82 years old, which, that's... oh, okay. Looks like he also did some movies. Most notably, he appeared in 1981's Escape to Victory, a film that chronicled a World War II-era soccer game between Allied prisoners of war and a German team. He starred alongside Michael Caine and Sylvester Stallone. He was also the subject of documentaries, most notably 2016's Pele, Birth of a Legend, a look at his childhood produced by Brian Grazer's Imagine Entertainment. Most recently, the 2021 Netflix documentary Pele looked at his life from 1958 to 1970 as he transformed from a young soccer phenomenon to a national hero. And it looks like he also did some music, including the soundtrack for 1977's Pele and recorded albums of popular Brazilian music and several autobiographies. So, yeah, it sounds like this guy was a legend in the soccer world. Sorry, I can't really say much more because I'm not a sports guy. And, okay, this is one person I really wanted to talk about that I couldn't find on a lot of these lists of people who passed away, but this is one of the big guys, Ruggero Deodato. I'll just read this. So, Ruggero Deodato, the Italian director best known for his gruesome 1980 horror film Cannibal Holocaust, died at 83. Per the Italian newspaper Il Messaggero. I apologize to anybody who's Italian that might be watching this. Deodato's early credits included working as assistant director on two 1966 spaghetti westerns directed by Sergio Corbucci, Django and Navajo Joe. He went on to direct the 1976 thriller Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man, and a year later, his first movie about cannibals, Last Cannibal World, also known as Jungle Holocaust. His return to the genre, Cannibal Holocaust, is often credited for pioneering the found footage style of filmmaking and is known for its gore and explicit violence. Following the cult classic, Deodato directed several more horror films, including 1986's Body Count and 1988's Phantom of Death, which starred Michael York and Donald Pleasence. The filmmaker also made a cameo playing a cannibal in Eli Roth's 2007 horror sequel, Hostel Part 2. Some of his other movies included 1985's Cut and Run, which is considered the unofficial third entry in, I guess, what you could call Deodato's Cannibal trilogy. And he also directed The Barbarians for Canon. But I do kind of like how this doesn't really go into like the controversies about Cannibal Holocaust. The fact that like they killed real animals on film, and also the fact that people actually thought that Deodato killed his actors. And he actually had to go to court over that. Like, he had to bring the actors to court to show to the jury that they didn't kill the actors, and also show how they were able to pull off some of the more gruesome effects in the film. But yeah, and they also another movie they didn't mention that he's kind of known for is House on the Edge of the Park, which is another video nasty that he made. Not as I guess popular as Cannibal Holocaust, but still. But yeah, it's good to know that that a major publication like Entertainment Weekly is acknowledging someone like Ruggero Deodato. So moving on, then next we've got John Bird. Actor and comedian John Bird died on December 24th. His representatives confirmed to the BBC. He was 86. Bird was well known for his satirical comedy in the 60s, often appearing alongside fellow English funnyman and satirist John Fortune. The pair famously joined impressionist Rory Bremner in the Channel 4 TV series Bremner, Bird and Fortune, which ran for 16 seasons and was nominated for several BAFTA TV awards. And then the next... okay, I don't know if I should go through all of these, because there's like over 200 of them. I might just kind of go through through these to find the more notable ones, like, because I don't know how many people would know who Joe Mersa Marley is. Sad to say. Alright, let's see. Okay, I guess I could talk about, I don't know, skip. Yeah, sorry, I know the stream isn't exactly the most exciting thing in the world. Okay, here we go. Ronan Vibert. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Okay, so a prolific British actor, best known for his roles in Saving Mr. Banks and The Borgias, died in a Florida hospital following a brief illness on December 22nd. He was 58. Born in Cambridgeshire, England, Vibert graduated from the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in 1985 and rose to popularity playing the character Lee in the 1989 series Traffic. He wanted to appear in a number of TV shows throughout the 1990s, including 1983's Lovejoy, 1995's Chandler and Company, and 1999's Gimme Gimme Gimme. Vibert also starred in 2000's Shadow the Vampire, which that's a really damn good movie, 2006's Tristan and Isolde, and 2013's Saving Mr. Banks. Vibert made his final appearance as Ritter Longbane in the 2019 fantasy series Carnival Row. And hey Sadie, welcome. What a year. I think my favorite movie of the year was Pearl. Yeah, that was a really good movie, especially considering that it's a prequel to X and it came out literally the same year. Though personally I would say X was the better film, but that's, you know, my opinion, of course. So Tom Bell, and I kind of, yeah, we'll just skip this. Oh, okay, here's one I want to talk about. Mike Hodges. Sonic 2 was the best movie, says Chaos Angel. Well, I don't know. We'll get to that. So Mike Hodges, British filmmaker Mike Hodges, best known for his gritty crime drama Get Carter and the cult classic Flash Gordon, which I love. Flash Gordon. That's one of my favorite 80s cult movies. Like that, I just cannot get. Like that's a movie that every time I watch it, I'm never in a bad mood. But anyway, he died due to heart failure at his home in Dorset, England. He was 90. Hodges got started in entertainment as a teleprompter operator, but soon found himself moving behind the camera to write and direct a series of television shows, including 1968's The Tyrant King. In 1971, Hodges and...
Okay, I found this on the web for as series.
Hodges wrote and directed Get Carter, a dark crime thriller starring Michael Caine that quickly drew comparisons to The Godfather. The director continued to adapt and direct a series of hit thrillers through the early 1970s, including 1972's Pulp and the 1975 horror film The Terminal Man, before making a huge leap and helming the glitzy space opera Flash Gordon in 1980. Hodges continued to release well-received films throughout the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, including 1989's Black Rainbow, 1988's Croupier, and 2003's I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. At the time of his death, the filmmaker was in the process of writing and directing his autobiographical documentary All at Sea. Yeah, I'm kind of sad that he died because, like I said before, Flash Gordon is one of my favorite cult movies, and I've actually been meaning to see Get Carter because I've heard that's a really good crime thriller. So let's move on. Sonia Eddy. Okay, I did see this one earlier. That yeah, she was best known for her roles Epiphany Johnson on General Hospital, which I can't really comment on because I never saw that show, and she was 55. Eddy joined the long-running soap opera in 2006 as Johnson, the no-nonsense head nurse who succeeded Audrey Hardy, played by Rachel Ames, at the Port Charles Hospital, and mother of the late Stan Johnson. She also reprised the role in the 2000 spin-off General Hospital Night Shift, and she starred in numerous TV shows, which, yeah, you can see all the credits. Married with Children, Family Matters, Beverly Hills 90210, Gilmore Girls, CSI, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Like, man, that's pretty crazy. So next we got Martin Duffy, a keyboardist who played for Felt, Primal Scream, and other UK rock groups, died December 18th at his home in Brighton, England. He was 55. The musician suffered a brain injury after a fall and passed peacefully, surrounded by family. Duffy joined English jangle pop band Felt in 1985 and moonlighted as a supporting keyboardist for Primal Scream throughout the 80s. After Felt split in 1989, Duffy ultimately joined Primal Scream full-time in 1981 and contributed to the band's third studio album, Screamadelica. Hoping I pronounced that right. Let's just go on. Terry Hall. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of skipping through these. Okay. Shirley Eichhard. I guess this is one that some of you might be a little more, well, yeah, I don't know, because I don't know how many people in my audience watch So You Think You Can Dance. Let's see. Okay, here's one that looks interesting. Angelo Badalamenti, the composer known for creating the haunting Twin Peaks theme song and collaborating on several more projects with director David Lynch, died December 11th at 85. In addition to his work on Twin Peaks, Badalamenti wrote the score for Lynch's Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, Wild at Heart, Lost Highway, and The Straight Story. Wow, that's I was gonna say, I love Blue Velvet's probably my favorite David Lynch movie. Second would be Wild at Heart, and Mulholland Drive might be my third, but it's hard to say. The Twin Peaks theme earned the composer a Grammy in 1990, and the show's soundtrack album went gold in 25 countries. Aside from his work with Lynch, Badalamenti's screen credits included Weeds, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, The Beach, Cabin Fever, Secretary, and the 2006 remake of The Wicker Man. Yeah, well, I mean, the score was good in that movie, I'll say that much. You know, about the only legitimately good thing about that movie. Oh yeah, I think I did hear about this one. Georgia Holt, who was Cher's mom, and she died December 10th at the age of 96, which, that's crazy to me. Alright, I guess I'll just, well, I probably should read this because she was a pretty big figure. Holt was the subject of the 2013 Cher-produced documentary Dear Mom, Love Cher, which chronicled her childhood in Arkansas and her 6 tumultuous marriages while she helped Cher pursue a music career. It also explored Holt's own career as an actress, which began in... Actually, you know what? I'm going to try something a little different with this. Let's go to View All. And so that way I can just kind of go through all these and see... and we can just kind of skim over which one of these, who these people were. Okay, here's a big one. No pun intended, of somebody who passed away. Kirstie Alley. Admittedly, I mostly knew Kirstie Alley from, From Look Who's Talking, because I remember my siblings loved watching the movie when they were younger. I was never big into it, but I have seen, well, I think the only other thing I've seen her in was, and the article mentions it, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and also her appearances on the show Cheers. But, let's see. Kirstie Alley, the Emmy-winning star of Cheers, Veronica's Closet, and Look Who's Talking, died at 71, as announced on December 5th. Alley had a previously undisclosed battle with cancer, though she had a number of notable roles in the 80s, including a part in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and a 13-episode stint on Masquerade. Alley was perhaps best known for her breakout role on Cheers as Rebecca Ho from 1987 to 1993. Alley was also well known for playing the leading role on Veronica's Closet from Friends creators David Crane and Marta Kaufman. In later years, she starred in, wrote, and executive produced Fat Actress, which was built around a heightened perception of Alley's own experiences in Hollywood. Yeah, because I think over the years, because, hang on, let me actually pull up some pictures to kind of compare. Kirstie Alley I'm just pulling up some like comparison pictures. Okay, that's not a very good picture. Let me see. Okay, this will do. Alright. So, let me go back to this. Okay, so this is what Kirstie Alley used to look like back in the day. Like, this is back when she was on Cheers, I think. And this is what she looked like in later years. So, yeah, the years weren't too kind to her, sad to say. Obviously, I'm not trying to make fun of her, I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, but yeah, I think that was kind of the whole basis for that show she had, Fat Actress. But anyway, she also appeared on The Hills, King of Queens, Kirstie, On Cleveland, Dancing with the Stars, Scream Queens, Celebrity Big Brother, The Goldbergs, and more. In addition to her lengthy television career, Alley starred in many films as well, including Look Who's Talking with John Travolta and its 2 sequels, which, honestly, I kind of forgot that the sequels were even a thing, as well as Runaway, Summer School, the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen vehicle It Takes Two, Deconstructing Harry, For Richer or Poorer with Tim Allen, and more. And yeah, jokes aside, it was pretty heartbreaking when Kirstie Alley passed away, because for all the jokes you can make about her, she did have a pretty lengthy legacy. So yeah, Kirstie Alley, we salute you. Let's see. Okay, here's one that I am kind of familiar with, and some of you might be familiar with this person if you read through my some of my Full Moon Fridays reviews. But Albert Pyun, genre filmmaker Albert Pyun. I cannot talk. Here, I'm gonna take a quick drink. Anyway, Albert Pyun, genre filmmaker Albert Pyun, known for cult classics Cyborg and The Sword and the Sorcerer, died November 26th at the age of 69. His wife, Cynthia Kernan, shared the news in a Facebook post saying, "I sat with him for his last breath that sounded like he was releasing the weight of the world." A cause of death was not given. Variety, however, reported he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and dementia a few years ago. Pyun's career spanned 4 decades, largely involving low-budget and direct-to-video releases. He worked with stars like Jean-Claude Van Damme, Christopher Lambert, and Burt Reynolds. He also directed the 1990 Captain America movie, which starred Matt Selinger as Marvel super soldier Steve Rogers, which I've actually seen the 1990 Captain America movie, and I know it gets a lot of flack, but considering a lot of the production problems it had, it's kind of amazing the movie even came together to begin with. But personally, I mostly know Pyun for the work he did with Charles Band, namely the 1986 movie Vicious Lips, which I don't know, it had promise, but it didn't quite live up to it. And he also directed Doll Man, which that's a really fun movie. That actually might be one of my favorite movies from like Full Moon's golden era from like 1989 to I'd say about 1995 maybe. But yeah, knowing that he apparently had MS and dementia, like I think I had actually known that he had dementia for a few years, but even still, that is really sad. Let's see, who else we got? That's a big name. Oh, okay, this is one that really hit me, like, in my inner child. Jason David Frank. Like, when I heard about this one, I'm shocked I didn't tear up, because, I'm not gonna lie, Jason David Frank was a huge part of my childhood. Like, I grew up watching Power Rangers, and he was a big, like, influence for me as a kid. Anyway, Jason David Frank, the actor and mixed martial artist, beloved for his role as one of the original Power Rangers, that died at the age of 49. He was best known for his role as Tommy Oliver, the antagonistic Green Ranger in the original 1993 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. A fan favorite, Frank was brought back as the reformed and new leader of the team, the White Ranger. He would go on to reprise his role in several Power Rangers adaptations, including Zeo, Turbo Power Rangers movie, and Power Rangers Hyperforce. His other acting credits include Sweet Valley High, Family Matters, and the Junior Defenders. Now, they kind of neglected to mention that he also was in, I think it was Dino Thunder, and even didn't acknowledge the Power Rangers movie from the mid '90s. But yeah, his death was pretty devastating, especially when I heard what the cause of death was, because I believe he took his own life, which makes it even sadder. You know, whenever you hear about somebody you looked up to, and they ended up just taking their own life, like it really is upsetting. So, Jason, wherever you are, I hope you found peace. So let's go on, see who else we can talk about. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one I really want to talk about. Kevin Conroy. This is another one from my childhood that really hit me when he passed away. So, Kevin Conroy, one of the most beloved actors to ever bring Batman to life, died on November 10th after a battle with cancer. He was 66. Born on November 3rd, 1955 in Westbury, New York, Conroy studied under John Houseman at the esteemed Juilliard School. The voice actor was instrumental in helping repopularize Batman for younger audiences, playing the Caped Crusader in Batman the Animated Series, which ran on Fox Kids from 1992 to 1996. Following his turn on the show, Conroy was the voice of Batman in movies like Batman Mask of Phantasm, in 15 separate TV series, and in 24 video game projects. Conroy also appeared on camera as a live-action Bruce Wayne in the CW's Arrowverse, portraying the character on the 2019 crossover event, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, like, I've always mentioned that Michael Keaton is my favorite live-action Batman, but for me, Kevin Conroy is, like, my definitive Batman. Like, whenever I think of Batman, I just can't help but imagine his voice. So, when I heard that he had passed away, that, again, was pretty devastating. Let's see, let's move on. You know, it doesn't look like we have much activity in the chat. I think maybe talking about celebrity deaths first probably wasn't the best idea. So I think we might move on to a different subject. Let me actually go back here. So I think instead what we'll look at the box office totals for 2022, and specifically look at all the movies that were like the top 10 highest grossing films of the year. So I've got Box Office Mojo here, and I'll zoom the screen in so you guys can see it better. Okay, there we go. So at number 10 we have Moon Man, which I did not know what that was, so I looked it up on Wikipedia, and apparently it's a Chinese sci-fi comedy that I guess never made it to the States. But according to Box Office Mojo, it made $460,237,662, which that's insane to me. That it became the 10th highest grossing film of the year, and it didn't even come out in the States. It only came out in China. I guess it kind of shows the power of the Chinese film industry. Oh, and also Chaos Angel, you might be disappointed to know that Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was only the 12th highest grossing film of the year, and it actually made less than the third Fantastic Beasts movie, which I haven't seen the third Fantastic Beasts movie, and I don't really care to, because, I don't know, I mean, I like the first one just fine, but I really didn't care for the second one, so I didn't even bother with the third one. But then at number 9, we've got Watergate Bridge, which, when I was looking this movie up, on Wikipedia, they have it listed as the battle at Lake, and I'm probably going to butcher this, Changjin II, which I'm sure I probably butchered that, but apparently it's also known as Watergate Bridge, and this was also only released in China, which, I don't know, it is just kind of weird to me that there would be movies like this that only get released there. Like, I don't know, I always just thought that foreign films would get released both in the, overseas and in the States, but I guess I'm just stupid. So, apparently this movie made like $626 million. Oh, I guess it did play here in the States, because apparently it only made a little over $100,000. So I guess it must have had a very limited release. So now we got a movie that I'm sure people have actually heard of, Thor: Love and Thunder, which was number 8 at the box office, making a little over $760 million. honestly, it kind of makes sense it's the lowest grossing of the Marvel movies this year because I was really excited about Love and Thunder because I loved Thor Ragnarok. Like, I didn't care that much for the first two Thor movies, but Thor Ragnarok was like, it's and still is like one of my favorite Marvel movies. So I was excited for Love and Thunder to come out, and it was a major letdown. Like, it wasn't terrible. Like, I would probably much rather watch this than the Eternals again, but it was still not good. So it makes sense that even though it did make a shitload of money, it wasn't as profitable as the other ones. And then we come to another superhero movie, The Batman, which is the one featuring Robert Pattinson, which domestically grossed over $369 million and made over $770 million worldwide. And I know there's been a lot of flack thrown at this movie, mostly for Robert Pattinson as Batman. I don't know. I actually didn't mind his version of Batman. Though I will concede, I think the supporting cast of the movie was a bit stronger than Pattinson. Like, what's her name? Zoe Kravitz, Colin Farrell, John Turturro, Paul Dano, Jeffrey Wright. Like, they were all really good. Andy Serkis. But I don't know. I didn't mind Pattinson so much as Batman. And I mean, he does have that pretty sweet Batmobile, which is just a muscle car with a jet engine on the back, which I don't know why. It's so goofy, but it's kind of fun. And then we got the second Marvel movie this year, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which grossed over $433 million domestically, but over $800 million worldwide. And I will hand it to the makers of Wakanda Forever. It could not have been easy to make a sequel to Black Panther, especially with Chadwick Boseman no longer with us. And I'll admit, I think they did a pretty good job. I actually enjoyed Wakanda Forever. I don't think I liked it as much as the first Black Panther, but it was still a pretty good movie and a fitting tribute to Chadwick Boseman. So, again, I give them credit where credit is due. They certainly pulled it off. And then at number 5, we've got another movie I didn't see this year, Minions: The Rise of Gru, which made a little over $369 million domestically and over $900 million worldwide. I'm just gonna say it right now, I don't give a fuck about the Minions. I don't. Like, I think the Minions are like some of the worst characters ever made for let's see, GG Anime says Minions was a keynote 10 out of 10 for me. Well, good to know. And Bunghulio is asking me, how old are you? I'll just say I'm probably older than you think I am. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't give a shit about the Minions or Despicable Me or really anything from Illumination, so I didn't bother with Minions: The Rise of Gru. Though I will admit, I am cautiously optimistic about that upcoming Mario Brothers movie they're making. Like, I'm still a little on the fence about Chris Pratt playing Mario, but I don't know, I'm still willing to give it a shot. And then at number 4, we've got another Marvel movie, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which made over $400 million at the box office domestically and over $900 million worldwide. And I'll be honest, like, as much as I like I think Wakanda Forever was better, but I kind of had a soft spot for the second Doctor Strange movie. I don't know, maybe it's just because, like, that one infused a little bit more horror into the MCU, and I'm a big horror. Yeah. Hang on. What's up? Sorry about that. Anyway, but yeah, I actually enjoyed Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It was just wild and crazy, and even threw in a little bit of Evil Dead 2 into there, which isn't surprising considering it was directed by Sam Raimi. And I kind of hope he does more MCU movies, because I think he did a good job with Doctor Strange. And then now we get to the top 3. And number 3, we have Jurassic World Dominion, which again, with Rise of Gru, I didn't even bother with this movie. but it made over 376 million domestically and over $1 billion worldwide, which isn't that surprising considering that. Let's see. Bung Holio says Robert Pattinson worked as Batman. People are just upset. It's just not Dark Knight again. Yeah, that's true. I mean, granted, like the Dark Knight, like was such a high bar that it is kind of hard to like top that movie. And you're right. There's probably never going to be another Batman movie that's as groundbreaking as the Dark Knight. But I don't know. The Batman was still enjoyable. At least I thought it was. But yeah, Dominion, I still haven't seen this movie, and I'll probably watch it at some point, but I really don't care to. Because, like, I love the original Jurassic Park. Like, to me, Jurassic Park is one of the best movies ever made. The sequels kind of hit or miss. And Jurassic World was dumb. Like, I'll admit, it was very stupid. But it was, like, kind of fun, stupid in a way. And then Fallen Kingdom, like, that movie was just a mess, and I really did not like it. It actually made my worst of 2018 list, and I still stand by that because it was terrible. So I didn't even bother with Dominion. And from what I've heard, a lot of people are saying the same thing, that Dominion is just awful. So I'm glad that I skipped it. And then next we got probably the most recent film to come out this year on this list, Avatar: The Way of Water, the long-awaited sequel to James Cameron's, $100 million Ego Fest. But anyway, domestically, so far, it's made a little over $350 million domestically and over 1.1, or at least $1.2 billion worldwide. Let's see. Bong Holio says, no, Film Nerd. That was directed towards Gigi, who said the Minions movie was good. Lol. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah, never mind. But anyway, yeah, Avatar: The Way of Water. I wrote a review for this movie not too long ago, and keep in mind, I was not a fan of the original Avatar. I mean, I think the original is okay. I mean, on a technical level, it's very impressive. Like, say what you will about James Cameron, but he is a great filmmaker, and even though apparently he's a notorious hothead and is like difficult to work with, he does get results. So, give him credit where credit is due. And the original, I think, still holds up on a technical level, but in terms of story and characters, it does kind of fall apart. Like, it is pretty basic. And Avatar: The Way of Water, again, is impressive on a technical level, but story and character-wise, it was very weak. Honestly, it felt very derivative of the first Avatar. And it also is kind of like, I mean, the original kind of set itself up for a sequel, but it also could have worked just as its own movie without a sequel. But the new one, like, makes it explicitly clear that there's gonna be a sequel. Obviously, I won't say what that ending is because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it's like a really obvious we're doing a sequel push, kind of on the same level as like a Marvel movie. Well, maybe not quite to that degree, but still. I mean, I've seen this movie pop up on a couple of best of lists, and that's fine if people really love this movie. I was just like, it was just okay, I guess. Just nothing I'll rewatch again. And then the highest grossing film of the year is Top Gun: Maverick, which domestically made over $718 million, and worldwide it made just a little under $1.5 billion. Now, I'm usually very skeptical when it comes to legacy sequels. I don't know if that's a term a lot of people use, but it's one I use. It refers to like when a sequel's made to a movie like years after the fact, like Tron Legacy or Ghostbusters Afterlife or Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And Top Gun Maverick's another one of those, since the original came out in 1986. So when I first heard this movie was coming out, I was very skeptical of it. But then I saw it, and I'll be honest, I think I might actually like it better than the original. The action's more intense, the stakes are higher. It's a much more personal film, I think. I mean, the original, I like the original, but it's not one of my favorite 80s flicks. It's just kind of Bungholio. Avatar was mid as hell. Yeah, I can agree with that. It was pretty mid. I mean, again, impressive on a technical level, but in terms of like narrative and characters, yeah, it was pretty mid. But Maverick, I thought was surprisingly really good. Like, this one actually might be one of my favorite movies of the year, because like it does have some nostalgia thrown in there, like a lot of legacy sequels do. But I think it also works as its own movie. Like, you could honestly go into Maverick having never seen the original and still get the same experience. Let's see. Bungholio again in the chat says the new one and the original Avatar were always those types of movies your friend never shuts up about, but in reality it's very meh. Yeah, again, that's pretty spot on, I would say. But no, yeah, Maverick. I mean, obviously say what you will about Tom Cruise, like, the guy's kind of a nut, but Maverick was still, I think, a really damn good movie. And again, probably one of those rare instances where the sequel is actually an improvement over the original, and I don't make that sentence lightly. So I'm going to switch back over to the scene, because now I'm going to pull up an article that I found on CBR of the top of the 10 biggest box office bombs of 2022. And I'll be honest, there are some movies on this list that I'm kind of shocked were bombs, mostly because there are movies that from this year that I loved, but I guess not a lot of people gave a shit to see them. So, okay, get out of here. So, yeah, here we go. The 10 biggest box office bombs of 2022. So, at number 10, we've got Black Adam, which made $391 million. And it says, the DCEU has been in a free fall for some time now, with James Gunn and Peter Safran recently taking over DC Studios in an attempt to reboot the franchise. This leaves upcoming DCEU films in an awkward position, which Black Adam was in when it came out on October 21st, 2022. Black Adam starred A-list actor Dwayne Johnson, but it still did not hold up at the box office, despite efforts from Johnson put out positive numbers in the hopes a sequel will be made. The movie did turn a profit, earning $391 million on an estimated $190 to $260 million budget, but that doesn't include marketing costs. As such, Black Adam has been labeled a box office bomb, which is kind of disappointing because, from what I understand, Black Adam was actually a huge pet project for Dwayne Johnson. Like, it was a movie he really wanted to get made, and I mean, he did, so I'll give him credit for that. And the movie itself, like, it's not what I would call a good movie. Like, it is kind of stupid, but again, it's like kind of fun stupid. Like, it's fun to watch Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam just tear shit up. Like, those scenes are pretty fun. The rest of it is just kind of meh. And I know there's also some controversy about James Gunn and Peter Safran taking over for DC, because they're basically wiping the slate clean as far as the DCEU goes. And I mean, there are aspects of that are disappointing, like the fact that they're not bringing Henry Cavill back to play Superman, because say what you will about those movies, but I actually kind of like Cavill as Superman. And kind of a spoiler for Black Adam, but they did tease his return to the DCEU, but obviously that's not going to happen because Cavill said that he's not going to be returning to play Superman. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, Black Adam, it's not terrible, but I can also kind of see why it didn't do so well, because it's not exactly a great superhero movie. And it could also just be superhero fatigue, because there are a lot of people out there who are kind of sick of superhero movies. And then number 9, we've got Lightyear, which made $226 million. The COVID pandemic pushed many of Pixar's releases straight to Disney Plus with no theatrical run. Lightyear saw Chris Evans voice the iconic character in a spin-off of Toy Story. The movie was the first Pixar film to release in theaters since Onward in 2020. Between small marketing, controversy over Evans voicing Buzz instead of Tim Allen, and bad word of mouth, Lightyear did not perform too well at the box office. It made $226 million during its run with a budget of $200 million. Lightyear just about made its money back, but it was barely a profit for Disney. Which, yeah, I mean, for Disney, for them, a profit is like, $500 million. But, yeah, I mean, I thought, again, Lightyear, I thought was just kind of okay. I mean, I didn't mind Chris Evans as the voice of Buzz. I mean, sure would have been nice to have Tim Allen back, But I mean, this is supposed to be a younger Buzz. It's not supposed to be the same one from the Toy Story movies, which I think that also might have hurt its chances, was that people were confused as to like what its connection was to Toy Story, or even if it is connected to Toy Story. But, and also there was that whole controversy about, oh, there's a same-sex kiss in the movie, but it's really just like a quick like peck on the lips that lasts only like 2 seconds. So people were up in arms over literally nothing. But I don't know. I mean, it is disappointing that this movie, you know, was kind of meh. But I don't know. I mean, it's okay. But again, I can see why it didn't do so well. And then, yeah, number 8, Morbius. Morbius. Yeah, this is definitely going on my worst of list, because even though all the "it's Morbin time" memes were funny, the movie is still trash. It is. It's hot garbage. So anyway, one of the worst rated films of 2022 is Morbius. The film starred Jared Leto in the titular role, but the superhero movie received negative reviews from critics and fans alike. Morbius has earned a measly 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is honestly kind of generous for that, and 35% on Metacritic, so it should come as no surprise that the movie didn't do well financially. Morbius, which originally came out on April 1st, had a budget of $83 million. However, the film ended up making $167.5 million. However, with multiple releases and terrible word of mouth, Morbius is considered to be a huge flop for Sony. And honestly, I'm glad that this movie bombed, because, yeah, I know, Morbin time, I'm Morbin. Like, yeah, the memes, like, were kind of funny, but the movie itself is just trash. Like honestly, I feel like I owe an apology to the Venom movies, because they weren't good either, but they're a hell of a lot better than this mess. Like I said, this is easily on my worst of 2022 list. Like, it is, this movie is, like, it's honestly embarrassing. Like, it's shocking just how bad this movie is. Like, seriously. So the number 7, we've got, this one kind of breaks my heart. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent bombed. This one I was really excited about, and honestly, this might actually end up on my best of list, because, granted, I am a sucker for Nicolas Cage, but I think this is easily one of Nick Cage's best movies in years. So, Nicolas Cage made a big return to acting with the 2022 movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. In the film, Cage stars as a version of himself who goes undercover for the CIA with a dangerous fan. While The Unbearable Weight got decent reviews and seems to showcase great chemistry between Cage and Pedro Pascal, the movie bombed. The Unbearable Weight had a budget of approximately $30 million and came very close to breaking even. However, it fell short when it ranked in $29.1 million during its theatrical run. As beloved as Cage is, The Unbearable Weight did not live up to expectations, which, again, is really sad, because I was super excited for this movie, and I absolutely loved it, and I hoped it would do well, but yeah, it looks like it just barely missed how much it cost to make. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, I guess it's not that big of a loss. Like, I mean, it still did lose at least like a little under $1 million, but like, compared to something like, you know, Cutthroat Island, which, you know, only made like $18 million on a budget of like, what, $150 million or something like that? Or even like from Disney, what was that movie? The Lone Ranger. Like, that was a massive bomb compared to this. So, I don't know. Again, it's unfortunate it didn't do very well, but I still think it's a great movie. And speaking of great movies, The Northman became successful thanks to VOD. This one is easily on my best of list. Like, if you have not seen The Northman, I highly recommend you do. It's an incredible movie. But anyway, Robert Eggers has been successful with his previous films. For example, The Lighthouse is seen as a modern cinematic masterpiece by many. His latest film, The Northman, has received similar glowing reviews. Unfortunately, that is no thanks to its unsuccessful theatrical run. The Northman had an estimated budget of $70 to $90 million, but it did not meet those marks at the box office. It brought in $69.9 million, which is just below breaking even. Thankfully, The Northman received good reviews and became a lot more popular through VOD, and it's now considered one of the best movies from 2022. Which, I will Bung Holio, The Northman is 2020. Yeah, absolutely. And then never even heard of this Nick Cage movie to be aged Must have been the marketing that sucked. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes the marketing for a movie can really hurt it. And I also agree about The Northman. It's 10 out of 10. Like, it's an incredible movie. Like, again, if you haven't seen The Northman, I highly recommend you do. Like, I'm honestly kicking myself that I missed this movie when it came out in theaters, because, oh man, that would have been one hell of an experience to see in the theater. Like, I think I would have left it having the same sort of experience that I did when I saw Mandy in the theater twice. Speaking of Nick Cage movies, honestly, I'd say The Northman is probably the most like accessible movie that Robert Eggers made. Like The Witch and The Lighthouse are great, but they are kind of hard to stomach for mainstream audiences. But The Northman, I think, is one that a lot of people can get behind. And hang on, the music cut out, so I'm gonna put on something different. Let's go with this one. Okay, this will do. But yeah, like I said, it's a huge shame The Northman didn't do very well theatrically, but I'm glad people have since discovered it and it's getting glowing reviews. And then next we got a movie that I had never heard of, She Said, which I guess is not surprising because the headline is She Said had virtually no marketing and it only made $11.2 million. Wow. So let's see. There are many reasons why a movie might flop at the box office, and marketing is a huge reason. If the desired audience doesn't hear about the movie, how can they go see it? That seems to have been the case with She Said, which follows the two New York Times reporters who broke the story that kickstarted the #MeToo movement in Hollywood. She Said made a measly $11.2 million at the box office, which meant it failed to meet or surpass its $32 million budget. Ouch. That's pretty bad. Unfortunately, the movie was set up for failure due to the lack of marketing and its competition with Black Panther: Wakanda Forever at the box office. She Said is a real testament to the importance of marketing. Yeah, and also poor planning, because, like, I mean, you know your movie's gonna fail when you put it up against a Marvel movie. Like, say what you will about Marvel, but, like, those movies are, like, guaranteed money. Like, they're almost, like, guaranteed to make a profit. Like, even if they don't do as well as others, they're still gonna make a shitload of money. And more people are gonna want to see that than something like this. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not sure how it is in terms of quality. But, I mean, yikes, 11.2 against a $32 million budget, like, that is pretty rough. Like, wow. But I mean, it's like, you know, it's like Bung Holi was saying about The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, that the marketing must have sucked. You know, it kind of goes to show that marketing is very important when you're trying to sell your movie. And then next we got Amsterdam, which, yeah, this is one I had heard a little bit about, but for whatever reason I never saw it, and I guess not a lot of people did because it only made $31.2 million. So, some movies are expected to be successful because they have a huge A-list cast attached, led by Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, and John David Washington. Amsterdam had a lot of momentum leading up to its October 7th release. However, bad reviews and box office competition tanked the movie. Amsterdam cost around $80 million to make and didn't even come close to that number at the box office. The 2022 comedy thriller brought in $31.2 million from its theatrical run, making it one of the biggest flops in many of these stars' careers. And I feel like it's even harsher considering it was directed by, what's his name? God damn it, it was on the tip. David O. Russell, that's it. David O. Russell, the same guy who made, like, Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle, and Joy. Like, all those movies did do very well, but yeah, Amsterdam just tanked. And I'll be honest, like, I had seen, like, some trailers for it, but I had no idea what the movie was about. And now I'm kind of curious to see it because I do like David O. Russell's work, and I do like Christian Bale and Margot Robbie as actors, so I don't know. I mean, and I'm also just curious to see, like, how it could have bombed so terribly. I mean, it didn't even make back half of its budget. Like, that's pretty awful, I gotta say. And then next we got Strange World, which I had seen this trailer a lot. And I'll be honest, I kind of wanted to see it because it looked different from what Disney usually does. But I don't know, I just never really saw it. And again, I guess not a lot of people did because it only made $62.7 million. So, typically a Disney movie being released around Thanksgiving is a ticket to success. Despite Strange World receiving very little marketing to entice families to see it, there were high expectations for the movie. Strange World was especially groundbreaking for featuring the first LGBTQ plus lead in the Disney film. Despite this, Strange World flopped. The movie made $62.7 million on a budget that ranges between $135 and $180 million. Oof. Wow. Strange World is already available on Disney Plus, barely even a month after its theatrical run. Strange World bombing at the box office continues a trend for Disney animation, which has seen a steady dip that it has yet to recover from. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Like, not only does the movie bomb, but only a month after it comes out in theaters, they dump it on Disney Plus. Like, I don't know, I guess that kind of goes to show that even Disney was aware of the kind of stinker they had on their hands. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the movie might actually be good. I just haven't seen it. But I mean, God, like, it cost that much money to make, and it only made back this much. Like, wow. That's pretty remarkable. And the number 2, Bros flopped, much to Billy Eichner's dismay. Yeah, I had heard a lot about this movie going into it. So anyway, Bros is a historic film in many ways, especially because it is one of the first mainstream rom-coms to feature 2 LGBTQ plus leads. However, the movie flopped at the box office. Bros made $14.8 million on a $22 million budget. Though there are many reasons that a film doesn't hold up at the box office, Billy Eichner, who stars in the film, claims Bros flopped because the movie is about 2 men in a relationship. He took to Twitter to voice his opinion over the film's lack of financial success. Despite its box office failure, Bros received positive reviews from fans and critics alike. Yeah, I remember hearing a lot about how Eichner was complaining that, people don't want to see it because they don't want to see a gay rom-com. When, I don't know, I feel like nowadays people are a lot more accepting of, like, gay people and, like, gay themes and whatnot. It's just, I don't know, I guess just not a lot of people were all that interested. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know how it is, like, quality-wise, but it does kind of seem like they were pushing this as, like, the first big, like, gay rom-com, and they were trying to sell it purely on that, rather than, I don't know, I guess the overall quality of the film. But I mean, yeah, that is still a pretty big loss. Like, even though it didn't cost that much to make, like, that is still quite a lot of money to lose. And then number 1, Babylon, which this movie is actually still playing in theaters right now, and I really am curious to see this because I've seen the trailer, and let's see, Bung Holio says Brokeback Mountain was about 2 gay cowboys and that made money back. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of weird how that happens. I mean, I guess maybe it could have also been like star power, because like these 2 guys, I have no idea who they are, but like Brokeback Mountain had like Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger, who were like 2 of the biggest actors at the time. And obviously I'm not saying like big stars means big box office, but I mean that generally helps, so that might have been it. But yeah, Babylon, like, this is one of those trailers that when I saw it, I was like, I have no idea what this movie's about, but I kind of want to see it. Like, it just looks so bombastic and weird that I kind of have to see it. And I guess it's still playing in theaters, so I've got plenty of time to catch it. But yeah, it so far only made $5.4 million, which, wow. Let's see. There are a lot of ways to look at what went wrong with Babylon, a 3-hour epic about the rise and fall of many individuals in the early days of Hollywood. Babylon, which stars Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, and Diego Calva, has bombed terribly at the box office and earned a mere $5.4 million on an $80 million budget. Ooh. That's bad. Of course, there's still time for Babylon to make money. However, the drop between the film's first and second weekend doesn't bode well for a movie's chances. Many factors have played into Babylon's failure, including its long run time, lack of marketing, impossible competition with other movies like Avatar: The Way of Water, and the holiday season preoccupying audiences. Yeah, that's true. Although it's weird because like people have complained about the runtime for like the new Avatar movie, and that still made like a shit ton of money. So I'm not sure why they would be complaining about this movie being long. But I don't know. I kind of want to see Babylon just because of how big and bombastic it looks. Let's see. Bungholio says, yeah, star power is one, and rom-coms struggle in general. Very dated movie format that not too many people enjoy. Yeah, that's true. Like, I feel like a lot of people nowadays really don't care for rom-coms. Like, I mean, sure, there are plenty of women who love them, but general audiences just seem to not really give a shit. You know, like, in terms of rom-coms, I think most women would be content with just watching whatever the Hallmark Channel puts out, rather than just whatever gets dumped in the theaters. But, again, I don't know, like, and also because, well, with Babylon, like, this movie was made by Damien Chazelle, I think is his name, who also directed Whiplash and La La Land, which I really enjoyed those movies. So I'm curious to see to see this one. But yeah, so those are the biggest like successes and the biggest failures at the box office this year. So yeah, 2022 was a pretty big year for movies. We got several more entries in the MCU. We lost a lot of big people in the industry, including filmmakers like Peter Bogdanovich and Rogerio Deodato, actors like Kirstie Alley, and comedians like Gilbert Gottfried and Bob Saget and Lonnie Anderson. Oh yeah, and we also lost legends like Angela Lansbury and Olivia Newton-John. But and Louise Fletcher. I almost forgot that she had passed away. So yeah, 2022 was certainly a big year for a lot of things, and here's hoping 2023 delivers on, because there's a lot of big stuff coming out in 2023. There's of course more Marvel movies, some new DC movies. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure what is coming out in 2023. But whatever comes in 2023, I'll certainly be here for it. But I know this stream was a little scatterbrained, and I apologize. We've been going for a little over an hour, so I think I might just kind of end it here. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for sticking around with me for 2022. I know this year's been a little rocky for a lot of us, myself included. I had promised myself early in the year that I was going to focus on more video reviews, and that obviously didn't pan out very well. I did do some video reviews, but not as many as I'd like to, as I wanted to. But with 2023, I'm fully dedicating myself to doing more video reviews, because I think that's the stuff you guys really want to see from me. So I'm definitely going to move forward with that. But yeah, so I guess this is the part where I show my shit. So of course there's the website there, film-nerd.com, and I've been posting some reviews that have been on the back burner for like way too long, that I'm finally getting around to publishing. Namely my review for X, which is a fantastic horror film if you haven't seen it. Then the most recent movie I saw this year was The Whale from Darren Aronofsky with Brendan Fraser, which, if Fraser does not get an Oscar, at least an Oscar nomination for his performance in this, like, all faith is lost. Like, because he deserves it, because he is phenomenal in the movie. And then, of course, for the holidays, we've got a list that I've been wanting to do for a while, my 12 best alternative Christmas classics. Obviously these are just ones that I think are great for the holiday season. Like people of course have their own what they consider to be alternative Christmas classics, but these are just some that I think are worth watching. So definitely check that out next holidays. And speaking of, we got what ended up being the last Full Moon Fridays of the year, the 12 Slaves of Christmas, which is okay. I mean, it's largely just a clip show of like other full moon movies, but I mean, it's kind of hard to get mad at something that's only 45 minutes long. And then of course we got Avatar: The Way of Water, which my overall thoughts on it were just that it was like just okay, I guess. Like nothing special or anything to write home about, but it's fine. And then we got what ended up being my last Trauma Tuesdays of 2022, Play Dead, which is it's kind of a fun killer dog movie. But yeah, I do apologize again that there wasn't a Trauma Tuesdays this week, but I promise there will be more going into 2023, and I am planning on turning both Full Moon Fridays and Trauma Tuesdays into video series very soon, so stay tuned for that. And then let me pull up my Patreon so you guys can take a good look at that. Let's see. Okay, so I've got the Patreon, of course, which you guys can sign up for. Got a couple tiers set up, 2, 3, 5. Obviously, it's not required, but you know, any little bit helps. I've also got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Which, actually, speaking of, I really should put a link to my Instagram up there, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. And also, I will be updating the merch store because the merch still has some of the old designs that Sir Perry made. Which, Sir Perry, if you ever do watch this, and I kind of doubt you will, thank you again. Those stills were great. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for sticking around with me throughout 2022. I promise there'll be more content coming in 2023. And of course, more streams as usual, you know, more of the same, sort of like looking at different kinds of movies. I'll try to get some more guests on because these streams seem to do better whenever I have somebody to bounce off of. And there will, of course, be game night streams, which I'm planning on doing at least one game night a month. Just kind of mix things up and also kind of give back to the community, you know, just do a little fun thing. So, yeah, I guess with that, I'll pull up the ending song, which, let me see if I can find it real quick. It should be here. Okay, yeah, here we go. So, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Look forward to more videos and more reviews coming up very soon. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.